eagle-eyed viewers will know that I have a reproduction of the Yarm helmet, a helmet found in the north of England on my windowsill, and this is a 10th century helmet, we think, found in the north of England, which is very exciting because that would make it the only Viking Age helmet from England and only the second complete Viking helmet that we have, or Viking Age helmet, that we have from Northern Europe. Oh. That thing's heavy. That thing weighs about 4 kilograms, so it's quite a weighty piece of kit. Now, I bought this second-hand a few months ago, and just before I'd bought it, I'd ordered myself a new helmet, and I'd ordered a replica of the Tjele helmet. When I say a replica, what I mean is a conjectural reconstruction of the Tjele helmet, because this is what we have left of the original. It's just the faceplate, and we haven't got anything else. But it's a lovely faceplate, and it's got brass detailing on it that I found really attractive. And you don't see very many replicas of them in reenactments, and I thought, well, it's a cool piece of kit that not many people wear. I'm going to get one. And I ordered it from Helgi's True History shop, which is based in Russia, and it's just arrived. So we're going to have a look at the helmet, but before we do, we're going to just have a brief overview of what I want from this helmet. So I specifically asked Oleg, who runs it, for small rivets, subtle rivets, for a band helm construction. He normally offers it in this style, in the EDINBURGH helm construction, which has this very thin ridge. I didn't want that. I wanted a wider band across the top of the helmet, because I think that's a more typical construction method for the period, just from what I've read and what I've seen. And we have so many EDINBURGH copies on reenactment battlefields that I wanted something that looked slightly less like a clone. I asked for the helmet to be lined. I asked for a leather liner and a leather chin strap with a brass buckle. So that's basically all I wanted. I didn't have very many specifications. So what I'm going to be looking for is the shape of the helmet. I want it to be kind of this elongated dome rather than a sort of semi-point, which is what you see in a lot of reconstructions. So I want this kind of dome, this long dome shape. I'm hoping it's got small rivets, subtle riveting, and a really close shape on the front spectacle plate to the original Tjele helmet. And hopefully it will have arrived in one piece all the way over from Russia. So let's do an unboxing video. Okay, so the first thing that I notice is that this is extremely light. This only weighs, let me see, that's gross weight, 2,477, so it's 2.5 kilograms. This entire thing is 2.4 kilos. It is significantly lighter than this Yarm helmet with a chainmail aventail. It is a very, very light package. It's a good job I read Cyrillic as well, because this has come from the Russian Federation. So let's get this opened. There seems to be a good... It's packed it really well, which is good to know. This thing has arrived very quickly as well. There's been absolutely no delay on the post, which is great. Let's take a couple of the information off there so that you guys can't stalk me. Not that any of you would, you know. No free vodka. That's okay. I forgive you for now. Super, super well packed. In booble wrap. Oh, alright. Wow, okay. So let's take a look at this thing. There is the lid. So it's a lovely helmet. It's a beautiful helmet. Thank you so much, Oleg. This is gorgeous. So let's just do a sort of side-by-side here. Okay, so some of the obvious stuff here is obviously the central band of the helmet is significantly wider than the one on the Yarm helmet. I wasn't expecting it to be quite that wide, but I like the width of it. I think that's nice. I think that's classy. The central band also goes over this horizontal band around the crown of the helmet, which is a detail I wasn't necessarily expecting, but I kind of like that as well as a feature. I think that's fun. You don't see that very often. So we've got the masks obviously riveted on in a very similar way on both of the helmets here, and sort of simple riveting on of these masks is pretty standard in helmets of the period as far as we can tell. It was a pretty simple process where you just get the plate, make the holes in the band, rivet it on, job done. Obviously the Tjele helmet face mask has these lovely brass features, and these have been punched, hand punched. We've got 3 vertical central decorative punch marks, and then we've got 2 bands around those, so that's really nice. That's really close to the original. It's very, very well done. They're all individual strips that have then been folded around the face mask and put in there, so that's a lovely job on that. That's a beautiful job. The central band that goes over the top has these fun spikes at the side, which is a lovely little decorative element. I'm not sure what that's based on off the top of my head. It's really, really nice. I also asked that the rivets were to be made as flush as possible. So these aren't completely flush to the helmet, but we do have some that are pretty flush on here. Let me just find them. We've got a couple. I can't find them now, but there are a couple of rivets that are pretty much flush to the dome of the lid, which is really, really lovely. So this is pretty much exactly the helmet that I ordered, which is fantastic. They're small rivets, much smaller than the rivets on this Yarm helmet. I think the rivets on this helmet are slightly too big for the helmet. These ones are exactly how I wanted them to be. They're small, they're subtle, they're not big domes that stick out. A lot of the re-enactment helmets you get, the cheaper ones, tend to have these really big domed rivets that really stick out from the dome of the helmet, and that's not what I wanted on this. I wanted nice subtle riveting, so that's absolutely perfect. That's what I ordered. Let's check out the insides. So on the insides of these lids we've got a few differences here. We've got the typical spider that you see, the spider type lining. We're not sure about the historicity of this. It's entirely possible that helmets of the period didn't have these linings at all, and they may have just had a leather band of some sort, or they might have had nothing at all and it may have been a dome and you'd wear a helmet liner, kind of a separate linen cap or something. We just don't know. In the Yarm helmet, it has these funny sort of pierced ones that are held together with a very modern looking shoelace, effectively, with plastic aglets on it, and we've also got some kind of nasty metal eyelets. It's all black, chrome tanned, modern leather as well, with a stainless steel buckle with a pop rivet on it. We don't like that, we don't want any of that, so that's all going to get replaced, which is fine. It's purchased second hand, it wasn't ordered by me. What I've got in my Tjele helmet here, we've got this really kind of fun sort of oxblood crimson coloured leather, which is achievable with period dyes. We do have evidence that leather was being dyed almost exactly this colour. Things like the St. Cuthbert Gospel book is dyed this colour of red, using, I think, a Kermes dye. I could be lying. So, editing Jimmy, you'll have to back me up on that one. It's all sewn together with a waxed linen thread, which is nice to see, and I've got this lovely copper alloy brass buckle on it. That buckle is nice. That's a nice little buckle. I like that. I'm hoping that that's based on a find. And knowing Helgi's True History Shop, it probably is. So we've got this fun spider, which is held together with a piece of leather thonging, dyed the same colour. I'm fine with that. The rivets are all actual rivets. They're all properly washed steel rivets, which I'm totally fine with. You can actually see the detail underneath the mask here. See the folding of these individual pieces of brass folded over and then just held in place, friction held. All of the rivets have been done by hand. They're all hand riveted. I can see on the inside all of the insides of the rivets holding the plates in place are all hand hammered as well, which is lovely to see. This has all been handmade very, very nicely. I'm just going to undo this spider a little so we can try and see the actual inside. So you can actually see the inside. There's the central band running down the middle of the helmet, so running down the top ridge of the helmet, as it were. And then you can see all of the other bands are placed underneath it and then riveted in place. So you can really see the construction methods used on this helmet, which is fantastic. I really love that you can see everything in here. You can see how it's been put together. And it is a beautifully made helmet. It really, really is a lovely helmet. So yeah, overall, super, super happy with this. Now, this is obviously... Hang on, let me tweak my exposure a little there. Exposure. Let me expose myself. Obviously, the main difference between these two helmets is that this one is based on a semi-complete find. The face mask and the crown band and most of the plates and the top knob are present on the Yarm helmet. The Tjele helmet is a much more fragmented find. We've basically only got the face masks. So everything above the face mask is conjectural. But it's made with the correct construction methods. It's made in fairly close materials. Obviously the steel is a modern steel, but that is unavoidable because I don't have the money to get something made entirely out of the correct kind of metal right now. If anybody wants to make me one, please feel free. I won't turn it down. Obviously there are differences here where we've got the front of the crown band has this central band going over it, whereas in the Yarm helmet it goes under it, but the side bands go underneath the crown band. This type of construction, generally speaking, as a band helm, is absolutely fine for the Viking Age. If this is a 10th century helmet, the Yarm helmet, this is probably typical the way it was constructed. I'm not convinced that things like the EDINBURGH helmet, with the very narrow ridge going up the top, is necessarily how the majority of helmets were being made in Europe in this period. I think this is much, much closer to what we would be seeing. These two types of construction are much, much closer. So obviously the proof of the pudding is in the eating with things like this, and I've just put this on and it fits absolutely perfectly. It is a completely perfect fit. My eyes line up perfectly with the spectacles. I can see absolutely everything. It doesn't restrict my peripheral vision. It doesn't wobble at all. It's fantastic. This helmet fits really, really nicely, and this is basically without the spider. I've tied it under my chin here, because I've got the neck strap, so it would be rude not to use the chin strap or the neck strap. But even without the chin strap, this thing would be perfectly secure on my head, especially if I were wearing a nice tight linen cap or an arming cap. I've just got enough room to fit my fingers in at the sides here, but there's not very much room at all there at all. There's hardly any wiggle room. So with a helmet liner of some kind, I wouldn't even need that chin strap, I don't think. I'm really, really chuffed with this helmet. I'm really, really pleased. I think this is a fantastic piece of kit. Really, really chuffed. It's not dripping with oil either, which is nice. So I'm probably going to have to get some, some light engineering oil on this thing. And the last thing that I really, really love is the detail on the front, the point of the front there. That's so nicely done. Look at the profile on that. That's brilliant. That's such a nice helmet. Oh, the shape is great. That shape, that sort of slightly elongated dome, that's what we're looking for in a band helm. Really nice. Really, really nice. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope that this has been useful in terms of things that you might want to look out for, things that you might want to check out when you're buying your own helmets. So things like the thickness of the steel, these both about the same thickness, the overall shape, the size of the rivets, does it have the right number of rivets, does it look like the original? And yes, I think this looks very close to the original. Does it come up to your specifications? You're the person who has to wear this thing. Remember, you're the person wearing it. Does it feel comfortable when you put it on? Do you feel safe when you put it on? Can you see? Is it wobbling all over the place? So these are some of the things to watch out for, and I will probably do some more videos on surviving Viking helmets that we have. So I hope you enjoyed this. Diolch yn fawr iawn am ymuno, unwaith eto, and tan tro nesa, till the next time, hwyl am y tro.